Whether you're buying your first house, your next house, welcome to our home buyer seminar every week. I'm Bill Gross, at Bill Gross Probate on social media, along with my colleague and good friend,
Patricia Castillo.
and our colleague and good friend.
Shannon Lender.
What's up, guys?
Crazy
Starting to
time.
get hot out there.
What's that?
Just crazy times. Crazy times.
Yeah, I was sharing with Patricia. Now she's working with me on a new listing I have, and I keep telling people, if you want to know what my new listing is, if you see where all the fires are and the burning cars, the fireworks, that's my new listing right there in the background. Oh my gosh, I just can't believe what's going on. And literally, and so we're not going to be able to, for safety reasons, we're not going to show it this week, and we'll wait till Wednesday to things hopefully calm down a bit. So I'm not making a comment on one way or the other, but I don't want to see, Patricia more than me would go to the property. I don't want to put her in a position to be unsafe. I mean, what's going on? Anyhow,
Yeah.
But new listing. You want to talk about, Patricia?
New listing. Yes, so this new listing that just went on the market is located right in the heart of downtown LA. So it's in a really vibrant location. And it's like a loft style living. So you have an open kitchen area, has one bed, two baths. You're at almost 1,800 square feet. It's 1,778. Has two assigned parking spaces.
Oh,
It's
wow.
located on the fifth floor. So this is in the iconic Toy Factory lofts in the heart of downtown LA in the Arts District. And so it has 11-foot ceilings. The windows are, southwest facing. So you have all the beautiful views, especially at nighttime. And it's a really, really nice loft. If you guys are looking for something like that, then I will be showing it. And probably starting next week.
Yeah, how about it?
Got it. You know what? A little off topic here, but obviously everything going on in California, fires, this, that. I won't bring
We
it
only have all day to list all the problems in California. Just limit to the few major ones.
down. But everyone that's looking outside in, especially from other states and even first-time homebuyers, I don't see properties values going down that dramatically.
No.
I mean, it seems like, for the first-time homebuyer listening, California, especially Southern California real estate, it's just staying strong, right? Do you guys, see any effect? I mean, for me, I don't see too many, too much, price drops right now. Maybe some seller concessions,
I would
and
say in
maybe
the luxury market too. I've seen some homes that are in the 2 million mark, 1.5 million price point come down a little bit. But when I say a
okay,
little bit, I'm talking like 50,000, right?
nothing
75,000. But this
too
is on a
crazy.
$2 million home. So the days on market are longer for luxury properties, I've noticed.
Man, so it seems like, California real estate is just not budging. I don't think we're gonna see any price. I've seen a lot of people that are trying to say, I'm gonna wait until the market drops. I'm gonna wait till, but I don't see it. I don't know if you guys see anything different, but regardless of everything, like Bill said, our long list of issues, it's just still not making a dent in values. And so it's just crazy. So
Well, I'd say a couple things. One is that local variables play a part, but I use me as an example. I would never choose. I'm a native Californian. I went to college here. I lived here most of my life. But even if I decided I wanted to live somewhere else, my daughter and my two grandkids, and we're blessed to announce my daughter's expecting our third grandson
all right.
in November. We're not going anywhere. Like, there's not a crowbar to get my wife out of here. There's no way. So we all have those factors, right? If you have a job or a business, to some degree, it's not like you can just change which fast food. You can't go from McDonald's to Burger King or DoorDash to Uber Eats. This is where you live for many people. Not everybody, but for many people. I do think there are people who've moved, who've chosen for various reasons, and a lot of people moved out for political reasons 4 years ago. That moment happened. COVID happened. Those people moved out. The current factors are I think, more systemic and going to take a lot longer to make an effect. In otherwise, what's a desirable geographic location? I mean, the weather here is phenomenal compared to other places in the country. It's just we could move to other states, but there's no. I mean, like I said, I would love to. I love Florida, but the weather's nowhere near as nice as it is here. It's not even. There's nothing that compares. So that's a lot with the weather, and I think second, it's harder to move for many people than you would think. It's not so simple to change. I think these things have long-term consequences, and certain neighborhoods are really affected. Like, I think the real shame, it's not LA overall, but I do think that downtown LA is really going to suffer. It already had been in that, like my daughter used to work for Lucky Brand. They got bought out, they closed down, the whole facility that was empty. The old Sears building moved out, and then that became a company, and they had problems. So downtown has really resurged. In fact, our listing kind of led the resurgence of downtown LA. The Toy Factory is one of those iconic lofts that's kind of started the renaissance of downtown LA, and they rebuilt that whole area by the river. I don't know if you've been down there. I was just there the first time 4 or 5 months ago. It's beautiful down there. Restaurants, bars, great coffee places, but that's the center of where this activity is, unfortunately. So those are the areas. What happens is certain neighborhoods suffer and other ones return. And so that's the heartbreak. And there are people who've worked hard to build those communities. We'll say, oh, it's not that bad. Well, yeah, but it's still burning. I mean, I don't know, Patricia. Am I being too paternal to you to say to you, I don't want to show the property till Wednesday next week? I would be heartbroken to know that you went there and something happened to you or your car, or you got stuck down there. I mean, I'm not going to let that happen, but does that insult you by saying that? Am I being too paternalistic when I say that?
No, not at all. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know that it's going to necessarily die down, but it might a little bit, or at least maybe some of that activity will move out of that specific location.
To my neighborhood.
Yeah, well, go to your neighborhood.
Well, it's funny you say that, because on Sunday, if you remember a year ago, we had riots in my neighborhood because an Israeli real estate company came here and was promoting people who wanted to move to Israel, like my brother did, to buy real estate. Well, they're coming back this weekend on Sunday. So I'm thinking Saturday is the big riot in downtown LA, and they'll just move out to West LA on Sunday and join us here. So yeah, I don't know, does that happen or not? We're very nervous in our neighborhood right now.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, there's a lot of, everything that's going on is in my neighborhood too. And it's just my heart's heavy. Definitely.
But I got a new listing. That always cheers me up. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, no, next week is fine.
Yeah. So I think, so instead of going there today or tomorrow, me or Patricia or the buyer's agent, the buyers aren't going to go there. They're not going to buy coffee while they're waiting. They're not going to go to lunch there afterwards. And so there's some little businessman who doesn't know he lost a couple of sales, and you can't look at that on your spreadsheet and know that happened, but that's what happens. These areas get negatively affected, and a lot of businesses operate in very thin margins. And so I think to answer your question, Shannon, go back to that, I think the issue is more localized, and downtown had not been affected by riots. They were not as affected by, say, the BLM riots last time around. It was more West Hollywood was affected, Fairfax was affected. This time it's downtown LA, and as somebody who's watched that come back, it's heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah. But,
hopefully it recovers.
in terms of what we were just talking about, as far as people that have moved out of California in the past and people that are coming back, I've had clients that moved out of state and now they're trying to come back, and the
Same.
have doubled and tripled from the time that they sold their home and moved. And in fact, I have one friend that moved to Texas and about 18 years ago, and now she's moving back, looking into properties, and just astonished at the prices in trying to buy a similar home today. It's something that if you do leave California and you try to come back later, even if it's been 3 to 5 years, the trajectory of the prices have, if you look back the last 10 years, they're going upwards. I mean, we haven't really seen, I would say the market is settling where the homes aren't being listed at 50,000 over the market value. We're not seeing offers that are coming in, um, 100,000 over asking like we did during COVID and post COVID, but the homes are still selling at the market value. And, we're seeing a strong, robust market still. I think other areas might be softening, but in the areas that we're in, it's business as usual. It's still pretty strong.
Yeah, I think the only way housing prices go down is if there's too many houses. Well, we're not building any, and we're burning some down. The fires took out about 15,000 homes, and so when you take out inventory like that, it puts more pressure on the houses here. And we actually had a seller's market movement post fires in January and February. Shannon's question again: what's the effect of the recent disturbances here in LA? Well, I don't know. Does it equal the fires, the fires were a positive on values and home prices, and now maybe this cools that off a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, I don't see prices going down much. I do think you have to be careful where you buy and such, but overall, the market is still Los Angeles. People still want to live here. The weather is just too nice.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if these issues go away, that just brings the prices even more, right? I think. So I don't know if we're at the bottom of whatever we're going through, but if this is the bottom, it only ways up from here.
Well, I always tell people I think you have to play the cards that you're dealt now. When people start to try, where people get burned is trying to project. Oh, I know values are going to go up. I know the rents are going to go up. If you can look at the numbers today and say, when people build multifamily homes, they look at the rent market and say, oh, I'm buying this one and the rents in these units are $1,200 and the market rents are $1,400. That's not projecting an increase. They know today's numbers. And if you're going to buy a house, you have to be able to qualify. And that's what's different today than 2008 and 9 when housing prices dropped. Anybody buying a house today can afford the house today. There's no adjustable mortgage with the introductory rate that's negatively amortizing or interest only for 3 months. If you buying a house today, you got to put some money down and you have to qualify with a lender today. And so I think that's a good thing, and that prices can't go down like they did in 2008 and 9. Will there be adjustments? I do think that maybe prices are flat, inflation goes up a little bit, but overall, I just don't think there's enough housing for prices to go down a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny too. I just talked to a client, and they said I guess they sold their property in 2008, and I think it was somewhere too, and it was in Whittier. He said, and he says he totally regrets it because he said it, man, how much that property was worth today. He's like, I'm just banging myself in the head because I should have just kept it. And so going back to that point of, hey, think about the now. And no matter where the market goes, look at that monthly payment. As long as you can afford that monthly payment, I say go for it. Even though, hey, a lot of clients, your monthly payment's never exactly where you want it to be. So it's always going to, 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't say 9 times, let's say 70, 80% of the time, it's always going to be a little bit higher. But as long as you can maintain that payment, it's not going to go higher. It can only go lower, if you refinance. So yeah, think about the now. Think about how much you can afford right now. And go based on that. I think you're right. Yeah. If we try to start timing the market, that's when people get in trouble. We start day trading the real estate markets.
Exactly. And I think you can win and lose, and but it's a big stakes game, and so you can lose a lot. But if you look at the numbers now, it makes sense. If you can afford the house today, it makes sense. If you can cut some costs, today, it makes sense. I think, like in the house that I've listed, if you work downtown LA, and maybe you can get rid of your car and the car payment and those expenses, and factor that into your living expense, that makes sense. If you can work out of your home, for some people, makes sense. And so I think people look at moving because there's something about it that works for them financially, and if it makes sense, then you can afford to buy it today. That's why I don't think the prices will drop. That's not to say if we don't have some sort of world war calamity, not wishing anything worse than we have today, we have enough. But of course, things can change. But based on where we are today with I would kind of call the monthly big news event, and we've had our share here in LA, I just don't see prices going down. There's just not enough activity to make that change.
Makes sense.
I mean, I bought a house. I've talked about it on this program for a year now. I've been in escrow. We're closing July 15th. And for me, it's an investment, and it's going to be a quick flip. But it went up over the last year over $100,000 in value. And I just sat here doing these podcasts for a year. I didn't really do anything. But the market, over the last year, with all this gone on, it's gone up in value. I haven't owned it yet. I'm not closing until July 15th.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I know now with our we're still in an inventory shortage, and so
Right.
with that, I know that there's been a good amount of rezoning laws that are trying to help people convert their single family into a duplex or into another, to where you can turn your single family and you can even do up to 3 units onto one. Do you think that this is going to help first time home buyers? Do you think it hurts them with all these new zoning laws that they're trying to push?
Well, part of the zoning laws are designed to create more housing by small lot subdivisions. We have a couple in my neighborhood. They haven't really sold. I think they're one of those ideas that looks great on paper, but don't have market acceptance. And I don't know about lenders' acceptance either. ADUs, I think, are huge. I think they're a great solution. They're not a new purchase as much as for rental or for families to combine. I'm thinking my house isn't really suitable for it, but I can imagine we'd be suitable maybe if our house is a little bigger to build an ADU in the back. Maybe me and my wife move in the back, and the kids, be in the main house. I think you'll see more intergenerational housing combined that way. So ADUs I think are a great opportunity. The problem is neighbors don't want a 2-story ADU hanging over their fence line when they previously had a garage there, right? There's all these political issues that it sounds great, but then when you get to the practical realities, they're harder to put through. But I do think the ADUs are promising for housing and creating value for homeowners. I think that's the most promising change. The small unit subdivision, I just don't see. That's not what people want. People don't want 4 houses on a small lot. I don't see that. What do you think, Patricia?
Well, the other thing to consider is, we're also many people are in that sandwich generation, right? Like that's the generation I'm in where my daughter still is at home with me. I still help her out somewhat financially. And then I'm also helping my sister take care of my aging parents, right? So we're like right in the middle. But when I talk to home buyers, they're looking for another room or with a bathroom or something like a JDU. A JDU is an attached addition. Let's say an extra bedroom with a bathroom. If you're looking at an ADU, that's a separate detached structure. So those are really popular right now, especially because if you're not looking to have an extra space for your aging parents or in-laws, then buyers are definitely looking for a way to supplement their mortgage payment. And so that's a great way to have an investment property because you're living there, but you're also getting rental income to help make that payment every month. Since interest rates have been so high all year, they've been around 7%. That's a hefty payment for somebody to come in and pay, even for a home that's like $700,000. So I've seen, in fact, one of my neighbors here in Downey, she had a pretty large lot and the largest on that street. And they did a lot line, split lots where she sold part of her yard and they put up some fencing now. And so I'm not sure how much compensation she got for that lot line adjustment, but they're building a house there now. That's how big, the space was. So in terms of having that opportunity to either rent and collect that mortgage payment or rental payment, or assist your aging parents or in-laws, for me, I would build an ADU in my home. I would just rent it out because we have a strong rental market here in Downey. And so my neighbor actually has 2 ADUs. She converted her garage legally, and then she had another ADU built. So it also depends on the city. I think here in Downey, they support ADUs, and the process to get your plans approved and get the permits issued are, a little bit more streamlined.
My uncle, who recently passed, moved to Las Vegas, technically Henderson, big suburb of Las Vegas, 20 years ago in a brand new development at the time. And one of the floor plans had a JDU, had an attached separate bedroom, bathroom, and separate entrance, so they could. And they had my uncle's father-in-law was living there for years, and it was such a great setup. And I'd never seen that in it was a major home developer. I forget which one, but like KB Homes or one of those kind of Toll Brothers, one of those major builders. And it was like a standard floor plan. They had that as a format because so many people were moving at that time into Henderson, like my uncle was with, you call the sandwich generation with, in their case, their parents. And what a nice option, to have. We don't, LA being older housing stock generally, we have to rebuild those things. But whether it be for rental income or for family, I think, and in your case, your neighbor, it's almost like she won the lottery because one day she has a house, the next day she has a house with 2 lots possible on it, and it's worth more money. So she made, hundreds of thousands of dollars just because the state allowed her to build that.
Right.
That's in Downey?
That's in Downey, yeah. She lives right next door to me. She charges $1,500 for each one.
Downey is the Beverly Hills of the 562.
It is. It sure is. I love living here. I mean, I've been here for 10 years now, and
wow.
Yeah, it's. I don't really see myself moving out of here unless something changed, circumstances in my life. But I really like living here.
I never told you this, but when I was a young boy, I played for the boys' club basketball team in La Habra, and we played Downey, and they killed us. And so I've ever since hated Downey from when I was 11 years old. I've just had this 55-year hatred. You mentioned Downey or Fontana, who's the team that beat us in the double elimination tournament. So to this day, I hate Downey when I hear the name. I think about you. Fontana was another team that beat us. We lost 2 games in this tournament, but Downey, I think of you positively. I don't think of you as being in Downey because you're so nice, and I don't like Downey because of that. Just FYI.
They'll lose. Let them win all the time.
We were good, but Downey, man, they were tough. They were a tough team. And then Fontana was a whole nother level. Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow. Okay. So enough of my psychology. News happening this weekend. Any open houses, any special programs? We have a new listing. You can't go and see it in person, but we could set up a showing if you're interested in downtown life or for our new loft. Anything else, Patricia, you have going on that's particularly interesting?
Not quite. I'm looking at my board. I have
her board. I remember when you had like a listing or you had an escrow. Now you have a board.
I have a board.
I love it.
Like your whiteboard. I have a whiteboard here too. I have a commercial retail space for restaurant use coming up on the west side.
Whoa, where?
The one that we worked on before on Venice.
I was going to say on Venice. Oh, wow. So they're selling it now or were they?
Yes, they remodeled the kitchen. It has on brand new refrigeration, cooking service. It's painted. The patio in the back has been updated. Added a restroom. It's changed a lot.
Was it profitable? The real estate? I mean, are they going to sell it and get back their investment money for the property? You think?
That's the goal.
Oh, how exciting! Wow. Well, you should do the before and after. Well, I look forward to hearing. Let's make sure you keep in touch on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So that one's, yes, I just need to have some pictures taken, but that one's available.
Nice. Shannon, what's up with you? What's new? What's happening? What's anything you want to promote? Any new programs? Any new?
Nothing new. I mean, I got a bunch of pre-quals this last week. I don't know what's up with this week, but buyers are out. They're coming out. So for sure, this is buying season. It's in full swing. So you guys, I got a lot of people that were getting themselves ready, that they are ready. Please give us a call if you're interested in buying, and please make sure you buy a house before you buy a car. I already have 2 people that just bought cars in April and May.
Oh, no.
And they're trying to get qualified now. And if they didn't buy that car, things would get in a better situation. So, yeah.
Wow.
20 years from now, you won't remember the car you drove, but 20 years from now, if you bought a house, that equity will be life-changing.
Yeah, I had someone that their credit score, these dealers, he ran his credit 6 times in one month.
Sure.
And I'm just like, what happened here? That he was in the 700s, now he's in the low sixes, and it's just because there's too many inquiries in one time. And then obviously I did another check, right? So that didn't help. So I'm like, man, try to buy the house before you buy the car, guys.
Not try, just do. Just don't buy a car to after you buy the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if someone's get a hold of you to talk about buying a property, getting qualified, find what the costs are, what's the best way to get a hold of you, Shannon?
Yeah. Give me a call, 661-317-8484, or you can go on my Instagram, FUND Fund with Shannon. I'll be there.
It's so hard to keep a straight face. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything. And Patricia, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
My cell number 323-365-9909.
And is your Instagram Fun with Patricia?
No, it's Patricia Castillo Sales LA.
But you have a lot of fun. I look at you while you're at a restaurant, then you're showing a property, then you're at another restaurant or bar with your family. You're out there, lady. You're out there, and then you've got this listing, that listing. You keep yourself pretty busy.
I'm keeping busy. That's right. It's, this is a time for buying and selling, and we have a lot of clients that are definitely raising their hands and ready to transact.
I go on Instagram, I look at you, and I'm just exhausted afterwards. I need to take a break. So keep up the good work. I'm Bill Gross, at Bill Gross Probate on social media. Feel free to call, text, or email if I can help. We record this new episode every Friday. I'd love to have you if you have questions, ask some questions. And as always, have a great week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.